By show of hands, any other questions? Seeing that there are none, we'll move on with the next speaker on the list. Dr.
I
Harshvardhan.
have raised.
Oh, sorry. Yogi Adityanath, please continue with your question.
Okay. As the delegate representing Yogi Adityanath, I have a question from Mr. Rahul Gandhi. Wouldn't it be better than to train fourth-year medical students who are dealing with the wards and have at par current medical knowledge with the changing curriculum rather than someone who's been out of skill and medical practice for a long period of time? Second thing is that it would also train. The second benefit of this would train the doctors that are currently studying and make them more skillful for the upcoming times. And third is, wouldn't be economically better, because if you employ someone with a degree, you have to pay them. But the fourth year medical student, they don't have a degree, they don't have a license, they'll be learning, you don't need to pay them.
Excuse me, is your question, are you questioning me that whether we should be training medical students who are in the fourth year rather than...
My question is...
Delegate, please clarify your
my question is
that
wouldn't it be better than training fourth year medical students rather than employing back the unemployed doctors that you mentioned in your speech?
Okay. See, you have a valid point, okay. But what we have to see over here is that the number of fourth year medical students all over the country won't be adequate. Even if we train fourth year medical students, our country has such a large population that these number of people, they won't be able to replace the frontline medical workers that are working right now, as of now. So we have to understand that we need a larger force. We need a larger force to in this present situation, and for that, you definitely have to admit that bringing back, employing doctors who have been were unemployed till now, is a far better option. We can definitely definitely consider training fourth year students rather than training first year and second year medical students. That is rather an argument for the later. However, training fourth year medical students is definitely a consideration. But since these number of students will not be enough to meet up the needs of the present crisis, so we need a larger force. I hope that answers my question, your question.
Great, Delegate. I hope that answers your doubt. If it doesn't, you can either choose to write to reply, or you can ask via chat. Yes, K. Chandrasekhar Rao.
I would like to use the right to reply since I have some issues with the facts that he's mentioned.
No, Delegate. You for issues with the fact, you raise a point of order.
Point of order.
All the point of orders are supposed to be submitted to the vice chair through the chits.
Yeah, through a written form. But okay, for now, I'll accept this one point of order if you find it so urgent. Yes, please go on.
I would like to question Mr. Rahul Gandhi. I think there's some problem with his research, that the report that he's mentioning regarding the Kerala government and the doctors who are unemployed, the Medical Council of India itself and the Indian Medical Association have clarified that such reports are completely false, and these are just mere allegations. And 60,000 doctors have registered in the Modern Medicine Department, Travancore, Cochin Medical Council. Among them, 7,000 doctors are in government service. So I think there's something wrong with this information.
Okay, Delegate. I understand, Delegate. On both sides, Mr. K. Chandrasekhar Rao also and Mr. Rahul Gandhi, please provide documentation from where you've obtained these facts to the EB.
Sure.
Please forward that to the vice chair, and then we'll find a decision on it. Moving on from here, we found Mr. Amit Shah in the house again. So we'll continue to his speech. Mr. Amit Shah, please come to the floor. Mr. Amit Shah, can you hear me? Mr. Amit Shah. Okay, there must be some technical issue on her end. Moving on from there, yeah. Okay. Please continue with this, please.
honorable delegates, ruling party government is committed to nurturing the right environment in order to build a vibrant, dynamic, and prosperous India. For this, it pledges itself to the principle Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Ek Bharat, Shreshtha Bharat. We are working together to strengthen the credibility of institution of democracy. Our government is functioning on the mantra of minimum government and maximum governance. Keeping this thought in our mind, today, I, Amit Shah, the Home Minister of India, and my ruling government would like to raise the issue on the topic that how medical system is overburdened and going through a crisis of manpower in this phase of the COVID-19 pandemic. In order to enhance the public healthcare infrastructure, through this bill, me and my government would suggest some more frontline warriors, adding up some more frontline warriors by involving pre-medical students of specified semesters under some guiding protocols or as a solution to this problem.
Is that all, delegate?
Yeah.
Would you yield to questions or comments or to the chair?
Comment.
Okay. Any delegate who would like to comment on her speech? By a show of hands. Seeing that there are none, I think we'll move forward with the list of speakers. Miss Dr. Harshvardhan to the floor, please.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are, delegate.
Okay. Good afternoon, honorable members. I am the delegate representing Dr. Harshvardhan, the Union Minister of Health and Family Welfare. I am pleased to address this parliamentary sitting and would like to put forward my views in favor of the agenda. Discussion on the viability of training of all medical students to compensate for the lack of medical staff. We need to acknowledge the fact this crisis is far from being over. But most of our medical personnel is already engaged in providing treatment to the patients. Dr. Mike Ryan, the Executive Director of World Health Organization, says that it's a very real possibility that this virus may become another endemic virus. What this means is this virus may never go away. We need to be prepared for this very reality and to protect the people of this country. Therefore, I think that medical students should be viable for medical training to strengthen our country's healthcare system.
Thank you, delegate. Would you like to yield to comments to the EB or to questions?
I'd like to yield to comments.
Anybody who would like to comment on a speech? Delegate, a comment on a speech can be anything that you felt about the speech or anything that you feel in general about the issues that she's covered. It can be a broad-ended question also that you ask to the House as a whole. Shivraj Singh Chauhan, please.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are, delegate.
Yeah, I would like to comment on the point that the prevalence of herd community, which is being followed by many, which has been proposed by many nations. That pertaining to the fact that the present virus is not going to be eradicated by some theories. What would be how the concept of herd immunity can also be prevalent in India?
Very valid point, delegate. Moving on from there, yes. Who's
Can I
this?
speak on that point?
Yes, you have a right to reply. You have a right to reply to each comment. You can raise a right to reply.
See, I do accept that the concept of herd immunity may be possible, but the thing is the vaccine has not been developed yet. And the spreading of the virus is very contagious, and without a vaccine, there would be no concept of herd immunity. So it's a very real possibility that it may become an endemic virus.
Okay. Anything you'd like to say to that, Mr. Shivraj Singh Chauhan? Yes, please. Please go on.
I would like to point out the fact that the basis of production of the vaccines takes a lot of time, and especially when the virus is very mutating in its aspects, then the production of a vaccine is not very feasible. For also the production of vaccine, probably it could take more than 2 years, and for the distribution and vaccination of the whole country is probably not so feasible, pertaining to the facts that the funding as well as the reaching of the government has to be appropriate.
Okay, thank you, Delegate. Any other questions you have among yourselves, you can ask via chat through the EB. Moving on from there, before I move on to the next speaker, I'd like to bring to the notice of the House that very soon, after a few speeches, I'll be asking for motions. These motions can be moderated caucuses or one-to-one debates or three-to-one debates, as in all of the motions that were mentioned in the ROPs. So if there is any topics, for example, I found a few topics right now like herd immunity, immunization, how vaccination can work. If इनमें से कोई भी topic you feel which is worthy of discussion, then you can bring that forward to the House at that point of time in the form of a motion. Now moving on to the next speaker, can we have Ms. Priyanka Gandhi on the floor?
Am I audible?
Yes, you are, Delegate. Please go on.
Greetings to the House. The delegate representing Priyanka Gandhi, with prior permission of the Honorable Speaker, I would like to be speaking on the forementioned agenda. I, complying to my party's ideology, would definitely be against the motion for the following compelling reasons. First and foremost, young medical students are veritable greenhorns with hardly any experience in dealing with the infections. Second, the Modi Sarkar says we have more than sufficient number of doctors already. 10 lakh allopathic doctors and 7.6 lakh Ayurvedic doctors translates to a doctor-patient ratio of 1.34 to a 1000. In such a happy scenario, why would you need augmentation of the workforce in the form of medical students? Thirdly, if inexperienced medical students are tending to a COVID positive patient and God forbid he or she dies, you can imagine the ruckus the relatives would be creating. Fourth and last, with the current dispensation heavily favoring the Ayurvedic system of medicine, maybe they should be co-opted in this fight. So then that is the solution I propose. Bring in the Ayurvedic doctors who, having dealt with patients and given our population's trust in them, are eminently suited to provide medical care compared to the medical students. And if at all a shortage of doctors is felt after that, why not abolish a retrogressive exam like NEXT, which apart from lowering the pass percentage would surely encourage cramming at the expense of practical skills. And hence I rest my case.
Thank you, Delegate. Who do you like to yield to? Comments, questions, or the EP?
Yield to comments.
Yield to comments. Any comment on his speech? K. Chandrasekhar Rao, please go on.
I very much agree with some parts of what she said. Although I think we should keep discussions like the next exam out of this for right now, since we are in an emergency situation. So next is something which is proposed by the government, and there are a lot of debates regarding it. So we should keep it away, and we should focus more on the immediate issue that rests in front of us. Thank you.
Hey, Delegate, any reply you would like to put into that?
Yeah. I would definitely agree with that, but I would definitely agree with what you're saying. But that is it's just a shortcoming. If at all, if after the Ayurvedic doctors being trained for the front line, if after that we still have a shortage, which is absolutely which wouldn't be there, because there are 7.6 lakh Ayurvedic doctors already as of 2018. So it would be. Next is definitely a topic which would be discussed after this immediate crisis would be solved.
Thank you, Delegate. Moving on from there, delegates, Miss Nirmala Sitaram.
Yes. Very good afternoon to the speaker, Deputy Speaker, the leader of the opposition party, the leader of the ruling party, and my dear fellow mates. I, Nirmala Sitharaman, the Finance Minister of India, is speaking on the agenda for the motion. I support my agenda. As we all know, our party has given a notion of Atmanirbhar Banna hai. In this pandemic, we need to become self-dependent. We need to become, Atmanirbhar. So, keeping this idea in mind, the And as we know, the country is facing a COVID pandemic, which has brought several issues to us. But amongst this is the major concern of the crisis of doctors in the country. This becomes a major concern because the the number of COVID patients is increasing enormously each day, as we all can see. To this issue, the best possible solution, according to our government, is to train the medicos to face the pandemic, to help in the pandemic. This can also be used as an opportunity, unfortunately, but this situation has brought us an opportunity to train the medicos in such a situation where they can get all kind of experiences, all kind of trainings, and they can be trained well beforehand. And this is good for the future too. Although it's an unfortunate situation, but we can still use it as an आपदा में आपदा को अवसर बनाने का. So here I conclude and I stand for the motion on the agenda.
Thank you very much, Delegate. What would you like to yield to?
I would yield to comment.
Okay. Any comments on your speech?
I would like comment.
Yes, please. Ms. Mamta Banerjee, please go on. Ms. Mamta Banerjee, we are waiting for you to speak. We can't hear.
You had really good points in the speech, but I would like to ask that you mentioned about already. Am I audible? Hello, can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, now you're audible.
Am I audible?
Yes, now you're audible.
Okay. You had really valid points in your speech, but you mentioned about training students. And since the agenda is on discussing, we are discussing it because of the lack of doctors in the country. Now, if we are in doctors from the workforce, because they would be involved in training the students, because we know that is a serious job to do, requires a lot of professionalism. So don't you think that would use up a lot of workforce?
Could you get that?
Sorry, it was really so. There was a lot of disturbance. Couldn't hear her.
Miss Mamta Banerjee, please send that through a chit via the EB, and we'll address it there. Dr. Shashi Tharoor, moving on to Dr. Shashi Tharoor.
So I would like to comment on this that being the finance minister, we all know that the health sector is already underfunded, and except bringing the medical students into the workforce, why aren't we using those many funds to bring ventilators and oxygen masks and all other equipments that are necessary, other than putting all the workforce and power in training the medical students?
Can I answer?
Okay. Yes, Mr.
Look,
this was anyways, just to clarify a point, Dr. Shashi Tharoor, this was not a comment, this was a question rather. So you should have put this forward as a question, but I'll accept this for now. But for future reference, please do remember this is a question, not a comment, right? Yes, Ms. Nirmala Sitaram, you can go on.
So yeah, your point is quite good, but I feel without doctors, equipments are worthless. What if there are no doctors, no one to actually use those equipments? What is the point of investing in equipments? And there are statistics which shows that there are like quite a less number of patients who are actually needing ventilators. Conservation and precaution and general day-to-day care can actually cure these patients. Rarely, I can't say, but there are still a very less number of people who really need ventilators. So for that, we need doctors. Recruitment of doctors becomes our priority. Then only we can get ventilators and equipments which the doctors can use. So basic need is for doctors. Yeah.
Can I reply to her?
You'll have to raise a right to reply.
Right to reply.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So according to a study, there are almost 22,000 doctors being graduated every year. Okay. And now, if we totally think that a doctor served the nation for about 40 years, then just think yourself the amount of doctors we have. And some part of them are really unemployed and some are just still trying to path their ways. Why don't we use them for resources?
Okay, delegate. Yes, we got your question. Yes, please please go on.
Can I answer?
Yes, please go on.
Yeah. So you said that doctors are graduating every year this amount of what you said according to your statistics. I would say that these are the doctors. I guess it is the total number of doctors who are graduating. But what I feel is amongst this, the COVID patient needs not only, they don't need every doctor. A psychiatrist can't treat COVID. What I feel, maybe if I'm wrong, correct me, but a psychiatrist can't be trained so easily to treat COVID. But if you feel doctors, unemployed doctors and the doctors which are graduating can help in this COVID, why not can MBBS students also help? My point is just that I want that MBBS student, we want that MBBS students should also help in this pandemic. They should also contribute to the country because they, as we all know, youngsters, young people, youth is the power of India. So for that, why can't we use our youth to do something for the country, for the betterment of the country? And unfortunately, again, but in this COVID pandemic also, there is a big opportunity for the MBBS students to actually contribute their service to the country.
Okay, delegate. Okay, delegate. Thank you. Any further rights to reply you can send by the EB through chips. Yeah. Moving on from there. Any motions on the house as yet? Are there any motions in the houses yet? Yes, Shivraj Singh Chauhan, please go on.
Motion regarding the prevalence of research on vaccination.
Moderated caucus, unmoderated caucus. What
moderate caucus. Yeah.
Please phrase that again.
Motion to move to moderated caucus on the topic of the prevalence of research work in India and the production of vaccine and immunization.
Oh, okay, delegate. Any other motions? By a show of hands, Rahul Gandhi, Mr. Rahul Gandhi. Mr. Rahul Gandhi, followed by Mr. CM Vijay Rupani, followed by Dr. Shashi Tharoor. These are the motions that we'll be taking. Yes, please go on.
Rahul Gandhi would like to raise a moderated caucus on alternatives of the agenda.
Please repeat your agenda.
Alternatives of the agenda.
Alternatives of the agenda as a delegate. I couldn't very little bit make it a little bit more.
We would like to have discussions on alternatives that we have.
Alternatives to students. Alternatives to students. Right.
Students against the
okay.
agenda. Yeah.
Okay. Students. Yes. You recognized CM Vijay Rupani.
The delegate of Gujarat wishes to raise the motion on the topic economic policies and program in the emergence of the COVID-19.
Please repeat your agenda once, delegate.
The delegate of Gujarat wishes to raise the motion on the topic economic policies and programs in the emergence of COVID-19.
Moderated caucus, unmoderated caucus, delegate?
Moderated.
Okay, great. Dr. Shashi Tharoor was recognized next.
The delegate of representing Dr. Shashi Tharoor would like to raise a moderated caucus on the topic that why are the funds are not being used to bring more medical instruments and equipments in use.
Oh, okay, delegate. Now we have 4 motions. Now we will put these to voting and let's see which one goes. So first was the motion prevailed by Shivraj Singh Chauhan regarding the prevalence of research in India and vaccination schedules regarding the same. So delegates wishing to discuss the same, please raise your hands. Please raise your hands. Any other delegates? Okay. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 people. Okay. Moving on to Rahul Gandhi's motion. Alternatives to using medical students. Please keep your hands raised. 12 speakers. We have 12 speakers. So seeing a clear, simple majority, this motion passes. And we'll now move into a moderated caucus regarding alternatives to using medical students. Now, Mr. Rahul Gandhi, would you like to be the first speaker or the last speaker?
I'd like to be the first speaker.
So we'll move into a moderated caucus for the next 15 minutes, with each speaker's time being 1 minute. And you'll like to be the last speaker or the first speaker? I missed that part.
Can I make the speaking time 1.5 minutes? If it's
okay, we'll accept that, delegate. We'll go on into 1.5 minutes and 15 minutes total time. Okay, great, delegate. So you'd like to be the first speaker or the last speaker?
I'll be the last speaker.
Last speaker. So people wishing to speak on this topic, please raise your hands. Bhagwant Man, followed by Mamta Banerjee, followed by Ashok Gehlot, followed by Farooq Abdullah, followed by Dr. Harshvardhan. We'll take more delegates later if we have time. Right. So, Mr. Bhagwant Man, are you ready with your speech?
Yes.
Let's go. Please come to the.
Good morning, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, you are, delegate. Please go on.
So, since I would like to say, if we combine the standard doctor-patient ratio as per WHO is 1:1000. In India, if we include all the allopathic and homeopathic doctors, the ratio rises to 1:860, which shows that we have enough manpower already. So my first suggestion would be to include every doctor and every healthcare setup, be it in a rural area or a private sector, in COVID-19 training. My second suggestion was maximum utilization of minimum resources. Since we have no room for error in this crashing economy, use of PPE kits and other protective gear by untrained students would be a wastage.
Thank you, delegate. You still have a lot of time left on you. Would you like to yield to comments, questions, or the EB?
Comments.
Comments. Anybody would like to comment on what she said? Yes, K. Chandrasekhar.
Yeah, can I?
K. Chandrasekhar Rao, followed by Shivraj Singh Chauhan. K. Chandrasekhar Rao, please put forward a comment.
I'd just like to comment on the issue regarding the PPE kits. I think that has been taken up by the government, and it has. We were a country which produced not a single PPE kit in our country, and now we're producing more than 2 lakhs a day. So I think that should not be an issue. And medical students are not just novices who won't know proper training is what the issue is today, and I think we can manage that.
Great, delegate. Moving on to Shivraj Singh Chauhan. Noted.
I would like to comment on the point that mentioned that the medical students present now are incapable of handling the situation. I would strongly disagree to this point. Also, including the indigenous medicine doctors like Ayush and the other people has been prevalent in India. But don't you think that the quality of health would be risked based on indigenous medicine? Because we have proven trials. We have proven trials based on the handling of the COVID crisis in allopathy.
Great, delegate. Would you like to reply to that, Bhagwant Man? Any other two comments?
Yes.
Yes, please go on.
Who
would you like to reply to?
To Shivraj Singh.
Yes, please go on.
I would like to say that untrained medical students, which are just new in the field, who have no clinical exposure, I think that would be risking the students and our assets on this. Rather, we can train the already professionals who are already involved in the field, who have already had clinical exposure. So I think it will be better to train them instead of the newcomers. during this time in the whatever is happening in the pandemic right now?
Okay, thank you, Delegate. We do not entertain more than one reply in a moderated caucus, so you can send via chat because of the time restrictions. But moving on from there, Ms. Mamta Banerjee, yours, please.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay, Honorable Speaker and respected delegates of the House, good morning. I would like to suggest that we move the focus from manpower to the better utilization of resources, because it seems to be the lack of resources, and hence we should, for example, like the doctors who are already there in the front lines or complain of lack of testing kits, lack of PPE kits, and also the lack of ventilators. So we should also think of that instead of worrying about the manpower. Also, even if you're using students who are as good as any other non-medico, because they are still learning what medicine is, we can place them, instead of putting them in patient care activities, we can place them in administrative places where they can have supportive use, not just not direct patient care use. Also, we have a lot of private practice doctors who are not involved in the tackling of the pandemic right now. So we can bring them in and have them deal with the pandemic instead of bringing in new unprofessional students. Thank you.
Great, Delegate. Would you like to yield to comments, questions, or the EB?
I would like to yield to comments.
Any comments on her speech? Yes, CM Vijay Rupani, followed by any other comments? Seeing that there are none, CM Vijay Rupani, please go on.
Yeah, as you said about the resources, and since जब हम कोविड क्राइसिस शुरू हुए थे तो कोई भी पीपीई किट्स इंडिया में मैन्युफैक्चर नहीं होती थी, बट अब 51 लाख से ज्यादा पीपीई किट्स हमारी कंट्री में बन चुकी हैं, एंड 300 सप्लायर्स जो हैं वो पीपीई किट्स बना रहे हैं, और N95 मास्क भी 87 लाख बन चुके हैं, जिनके मेजर 7 सप्लायर्स हैं हमारी कंट्री में, और रोज हमारी कंट्री में 3,20,000 लाख पीपीई किट्स आर फॉर्म्ड पर डे. तो we are coping up with that. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Delegate.
Excuse me, boss. Since my network is not stable, can I speak? I raised my hand also. I guess you haven't seen that.
For the comment.
Yeah.
Okay. If your Delegate, if your video is not working, alternatively, leave a text on the group whenever you want to raise your hand.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Please comment.
So recently, the Empowered Group 3 of the central government had informed that the total projected demand of PPE kits till June 2020 would be 2.01 crores. Order for 2.22 crore PPE kits have already been placed, of which orders to the tune of 1.42 crores of the PPE kits is placed with the domestic manufacturers, and 80 lakh PPE kits are being imported. More on, we have about 15 lakh PPE kits in the center state buffer stock. More on, if we go through the facts, the ministry, according to the Center for Disease Dynamics, Economics and Policy Research Team, India has approximately. Sorry?
Delegate, you'll be cut short because the video is about to end. Please end soon.
Okay. Policy research team, India has approximately 1.9 million hospital beds, 95,000 ICU beds, and 48,000 ventilators. On the other hand, the research team conservatively assumed that the number of ICU beds would be 5% of the hospital bed. Okay, and the critical patients ratio, if we see, it's not more than 8%. So I don't think so that we are, yes, we are lagging due to the increased number of the patients, but in normal terms, we are fully equipped either if you talk about the PP kits or the ventilators or the ICU beds for the critical patients.